also here tonight. Both Michelle and I attended Santa Fe High School after Dad's tenure here, as did both my daughters. When I got the call about this event, I wasn't really sure how Dad would react to the news, but he was genuinely touched and agreed to come tonight, and then asked me to present the award. So here we go. Jack was born in New York. He moved to San Francisco at age 14 with his mother after having attended St. Joseph's Military Academy for elementary school. He graduated from Sacred Heart Cathedral College, now Sacred Heart College Prep, in San Francisco. He earned a BA from San Francisco State College with a major in social science and a minor in speech in 1955. He received a general secondary credential in 1956. And in the fall of 1957, he was hired to teach at Santa Fe High School. The principal was Ralph Phelps, and his master teacher was Esther Arrowsmith. While at Santa Fe High School, he taught social studies and world history to sophomores, U.S. history and philosophy to juniors, and to seniors, he taught government and senior problems, now known as health education sex ed. I cannot imagine how that went over. A classroom of 17 and 18-year-olds with Dad drawing pictures, stick figures at best, on the blackboard. While at Santa Fe High School, Dad also taught freshman sociology classes at night at College of Marin. Jack was part of an entire group of teachers, all new to Santa Fe High School. They were all young and enthusiastic, and Santa Fe High benefited from their talent and energy. Some of them have already been inducted into this Hall of Honor, which says a lot about the caliber of teachers they were and the impact they had on their students then and to this day. As young girls, Dad would sometimes take us to Santa Fe High School. We would help him make mimeograph copies and hang around his classroom while he got ready for the next week. Dad often brought his work home and would have us help him correct tests. We would be in the living room with tests spread all over the floor while Dad told us the answers, and we would mark the tests. He, of course, handled the essay questions. He also let us occasionally play hooky from our grammar school and spend the day at Santa Fe High School. There was a group of students who spent a lot of time at our home on trips with our family. Michelle and I even had our first trip to Disneyland with them. We would spend the day at Santa Fe High School with them, going to their classes. As a result, when I started at Santa Fe High School, I felt very familiar with the campus and many of the teachers I had grown up with. Dad always had an open door policy for his students. I grew up with students from both Santa Fe High School and State at our home on a regular basis. They were always welcome, and for many, our home was a safe place to discuss ideas and real-life issues. I remember one Santa Fe High student coming to our home in Mill Valley to tell Dad he had been drafted and was going to Vietnam. The war became very real to us at that point. Dad sat with him for a long time talking. He didn't stop being a teacher and a mentor at 3 p.m. when the classes ended. He left Santa Fe High School in 1967 to accept a teaching position at San Francisco State College in the Social Science Interdisciplinary Studies Department. He taught at State until 2002, when he retired from California State University, San Francisco campus, as Professor Emeritus. At the same time, the Ford Foundation hired him away from College of Marin to teach at San Quentin State Prison. He taught college-level sociology to the inmates. It was there he really got a feel for the criminal justice system with all its imperfections and discriminations. In 1982, he founded the Criminal Justice Program in the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences at San Francisco State University. He was the director of that program until retirement. While teaching full-time at State, he attended UC Berkeley, a real hotbed of political upheaval, where he received his PhD in 1970. He fondly remembers his professor reaching across the desk shaking his hand and saying, "Congratulations, Doctor." In the late 1990s, he authored 3 books on criminal justice. I would like to share some tributes from some of his former Santa Fe High students. In a word, Jack Curtin was an impactful educator. Any student at Santa Fe High School that had the privilege of taking one of Jack's classes was motivated to seek more wisdom. Jack simply stimulated intellectual curiosity. From the moment the bell rang until the last second of his class, students were captivated by his unbelievable ability to make learning fun. His approach might be considered somewhat theatrical, as students were highly engaged and motivated to be there. His was a class you didn't want to miss, and you did walk away with knowledge and lifelong lessons. And then, Mr. Curtin was the first teacher that instilled in me the love of learning, and that not all history and ideas are perfect. He taught using the Socratic method, which honed my thinking skills to look beyond rote dates, places, and events, and to understand why things did or did not happen. And an inspiration to all of us. He was a wonderful teacher who made history and ideas come alive. And our class was so very fortunate to be blessed with such a far-sighted, brilliant, empathetic, and talented faculty. Their life lessons and unique styles continue to dictate my critical thinking even after all these years. One of them was Jack Curtin. And finally, it wasn't until his class in my senior year that I was actually challenged to use my brain to think, rather than just recall and recite. He really did have a profound impact, and based on the recollections of my classmates at our recent reunion, he has a large group of people who remain grateful for his time as a high school teacher. Dad was a passionate teacher. He wasn't so much interested in getting through the curriculum as he was teaching the students to read and write, and mostly to learn to think for themselves, to really take on a subject, work through it fully to understand it, and then feel confident enough with the subject to be able to discuss it. He was not a rote teacher. He felt his job was to teach the students how to think so they would become productive, articulate adults. The name Curtin derives from Old Celtic names, all meaning teacher or educator. Dad felt the calling of education. For him, it was something genetic and visceral. Most of Dad's students remember him as a great teacher. They had the good fortune of having him when he was at his best, in front of a classroom. Some were lucky enough to be considered family, and they treasure those memories to this day. And now, it is my honor to present this award to my father, Dr. John C. Curtin.